we're supposed to discuss the practice and the teachings on the sixth perfection. So yesterday we briefly discussed on the first two practice of the perfection, practice of perfection in relation to generosity and morality, and you realize that you know you are in the practice. Your life is very much accordance with the guideline in the training of generosity, and all of you living a life in a most generous way, sharing your material gift according with your best abilities, not only to your loved ones, but you reach out to strangers. You even reach out to those who have harmed you. In many cases, even intentionally, that you have shared, the practice in the material gifts. And then the generosity of offering protection and generosity of dharma. Through many ways, one of I think one of the highlighted the generosity of dharma is yourself embodying the practice of the dharma, and people get inspired by your life. People get inspired by your conduct. People get inspired by your relation to others, because you very much communicate with others, upholding the values of the Dharma that you have learned. All of you does that perfectly, greatly, and many people expresses and realize that, oh, you have changed so much. You have changed for better, so much. I knew you, 30 years back, 20 years back, 5 years back, 1 year back. Now, you're so peaceful, you're so gentle, and you're so tolerant, and you're so forgiving, and you're so kind, and etc. And all these are great compliment. This is just this alone that you have practiced the generosity of Dharma. And many of you have such an amazing Guru devotion to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to Gyaltsen Lama Sopa Rinpoche, to your other gurus. And you inspire others, embodying Guru's qualities, even it could be just tiny one. The way how you think, the way how you speak, the way how you present your existence, your physical presence to other. Even it may be pretending, it is still wonderful. It reflects, the Guru's influence to you. As a student of a Guru, you misbehave, that to reflect to the Guru. Like if the children misbehave, they reflect to the parent. Similar, as a spiritual children, whatever way we behave, it reflects to our Guru. It reflects to Buddha. It reflects to the valid, what you call the validity. I don't know how to say it in English.
Validity.
Validity of the Dharma. You learn the Dharma, you misbehave to the people who never met Dharma, who never studied Dharma. They think that Dharma is horrible. Look at your action. You as a Dharma student, you misbehave like that. You talk like that. You think like that. You behave like this. This is defaming the Dharma, isn't it? So one way we have such a huge responsibility, but another way this responsibility is not a burden; it's a privilege. It's a privilege. Like similar goes to the precepts. You see, if we understand correctly, the more precepts we have, the more privilege we are taking. If we think otherwise, the more precept we have, more our life controlled, suffocated, because of too many sadhanas, too many commitments to do, too many precepts to do, too many advice from Guru. Do this, don't do this, And yeah, some people misunderstand that, yeah, I have no life because there's so much commitment that Guru have given to me. But if you think the right way, it's a privilege. You become the most fortunate, put into a position that not only keep away from a lot of trouble in the present time, but also to create a lot of abundance of causes for future happiness and protection to stay away from future troubles, future lifetimes troubles, including troubles of being reborn in the lower realms, isn't it? So therefore, yeah, what is the purpose of practicing Dharma? To become just like Buddha. To become Buddha, isn't it? Why we have Guru? Why His Holiness Dalai Lama and Lama Subrahmachari in our life? Because we want to achieve their Guru Buddhahood. We want to become just like them. So that logically understood that from very beginning, we had to train our three doors to be able to behave like the Guru's three doors. So from very first day onward, you see. So that is the way how we will eventually achieve Guru Buddhahood. Eventually, we become oneness. Oneness, isn't it? Guru Buddhahood is inseparable from the Guru. Inseparable from here. Most of you here is the old disciple of His Holiness Dalai Lama or Lama Subrahmachari, or some of you maybe not have haven't yet follow in a committed way to the spiritual gurus, but then but still these beings are valid teachers, truly the ultimate protection and ultimate guide. So therefore, when you learn about these beings, your heart get nurtured. It inspires us onto the path. So anyway, the point is that behaving according with the Guru's advice is a charity of Dharma to the others. When others inspired by your conduct, similar like how we are inspired by our gurus, how much we inspired by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So my point is like, all of you here already doing great practice in that. Then in relation to morality, many of you are practicing all the three precepts. In the common teachings of Lamrim, defining precious human rebirth, defined by 8 freedoms and endowments. From the Mahayanic perspective, uh, from the point of view of the uh, uh, Mahayanic Sutrayana and Mahayanic Patrayana, the defining characteristic of precious human rebirth is the rebirth that uphold the three moral precepts, or have the inner and outer condition to uphold the three moral precepts, individual liberation precepts, Buddhism precepts, and tantric precepts. And here, many of individuals who are upholding all those three precepts, and every one of us, we are capable to uphold all these three precepts, and that kind of life is regarded as one of the most precious life, most favorable life. So so already, you are in a great level of practice in this practice of six paramita, that which is really, helping us to progress on the Bodhisattva's path to nearing, to actualize the Buddhahood. But then again, yesterday there are few areas that which is for many of us is quite far away to able to conduct that, like such as, even giving up your life and giving up your body when it comes to great degree of practice of generosity. And when it comes to the practice of morality, these three precepts, to able to practice sustainability without even a fraction of transgression is a long way for us to achieve that. And to really to bring to the purest state of capability, the highest state of capability to conduct those unimaginable practice of generosity and morality can happen if we develop the remaining six paramitas. If we train in the remaining six paramitas, remaining remaining four paramitas, that will help us to reach to a level of those of the Arya Bodhisattvas, to actualize those great practice of generosity and most perfected practice of morality, and which will help them to, as we discussed briefly yesterday, sweep and to accomplish the three countless merit within very short period of time and actualize Buddhahood like that. Yeah. So my point here is, one way is the kind of encouragement that because you are really doing great, but in another way, then don't stop there because there's much more to do. Okay. So now, the third one is that, again from the Lama Chöpa, it says, should even the merit beings of the three realms without exception become angry at me, humiliate, criticize, threaten, or even kill me, I seek your blessing to complete the perfections of Asian. Not to be distraught, but to work for their benefit in response to their harm. It's yummy, but it's tough, isn't it? It's like a chili. It's yummy, but too much, too spicy. Yeah, so so the beings of the three realms, without exception, whether it's loved one, whether it's enemy, whether it's stranger, whether it's divine God, whether it's animal, whether it's human, whether it's spirit, including of the nature, comes in the harm of your well-being. An example, like such as like getting angry at you, humiliate you, criticize you, threaten you, or even cause of your life. Then um, instead of distraught, retaliate, express the same action as a reply, but in the practice of the training, in the practice of sixth perfection, patient, then one need to, in fact, reply with offering benefit. The reply is by offering benefits. So you see, the Friday night topic, whether Buddha loved Hitler, and the answer was yes. And we try to discuss quite a few reasons. So this comes in the practice of patience. In the practice of patience, in fact, the most destructive beings are more than anyone else. We need to keep them close in our heart. Close in our heart, not agree with their action. Buddha, my understanding, as I suggested, that Buddha would condemn all the actions what the Hitler did and all the Hitler-like people today doing. But as a sentient being, still object of their compassion and their love, and their benefit. So therefore, we don't have to go so far, up to Hitler or those of the destructive people that who, biologically or environmentally is quite distant from our day-to-day life. But even within family members, among the friends, among the neighborhood, they are the first people to first environment to practice patience. And the first person to practice patience is our own self, with ourselves or with our emotion. When anger arises, we have to be more than ever have to be kinder to ourselves. More than ever, that we have to find way to help ourselves, not to support the anger to get exploded, to completely destroy it. Rather find every skillful ways to help ourselves to extinguish the fire of anger within us. And the best way to do that is through the applications of the Dharma tools, such as a great summary of the teaching on the seeing the disadvantage of negative emotion like anger, and the advantage of patience, that which taught in Paramita Sutra, that which Shantideva have summarized in Buddhist Avataracharya, chapter 6. Reading them, meditating on them, make it how to say, habitual in our understanding and practice, so that easily can remember those guidance, so that whenever anger system arises, anger symptoms, or being in the environment of that which can trigger anger, then without delay, timely, one can remember those antidotes. And that is very much like a boiling water. You pour a little bit of cold water to pacify. So this is what it means, applying the practice of patience. It's not just say I want to be patient, then anger goes away. It doesn't go that way. You need to provide the right antidote. So the right antidote is actually the wisdom, or concentration, or moral ethics. Very strong attitude of precepts, having the understanding of the disadvantage of anger, and you uphold, making sure not to transgress even the slightest way, and that way that anger have no room to intrude in our system. So that's why the Bodhisattva precepts, the moment you arise anger, Bodhisattva precept transgress. To any sentient being, you get angry. You even get angry to yourself. You are one of the sentient beings. Bodhisattva precept transgress. So if you uphold the moral precept in a full force, that is the antidote. That is the one that will protect us getting angry. The second one is the full force of concentration, make our mind serviceable, such as like high level of concentration of shamatha, if not at least certain degree of having control over our emotion. And that comes from training in mindfulness, training in single-pointed concentration. The more you train in single-pointed concentration, whether in the discursive knowledge or whether in one dedicated object, as long as you have a sense of what you call able to stay concentrated to the defined object that you wish to stay, fully one-pointed concentration, that bring the quality of making our mind more and more serviceable, means more and more serviceable to listen to you. So you can direct the mind, how the mind want to behave, how the mind to be behaved. So that's why even the language of Dharma called serviceable, through the concentration, what benefit comes? Your mind becomes serviceable. It's your mind, you start to listen to you. You see. So the way to overcome the anger, or way to not to get angry, is the second, another powerful tool is through the quality of concentration. Then the third antidote is applications of wisdom of emptiness. Well habituated, deep, arising of natural wisdom in relation to repeated exercise of finding no substantial basis of self that who get angry, no substantial existence out there that someone to be get angry, no substantial entity that even called anger, having a well habituated finding of no person that can get angry, then the angry is just hallucination, and you are being hallucinated. So if you realize that I'm being hallucinated, then you will find that you are so foolish, isn't it? You are like when we about to get angry, or when we get angry, it's like so solid, so me, isn't it? So real. But then you found out that your ego won't able to handle that. You find that you are completely foolish. You are completely fooled. So your ego, because anger is below the ego, so the ego will be like kind of like squash. There's no better hammer to squash than the wisdom of emptiness, such like negative emotion like anger. You see, so then right there is kind of like you kind of let go, like release. There's no me to get angry, then I'm getting angry, and I uphold, there's something, that there's one person like me, to get hurt. That's why getting angry, but there's no person to get hurt, isn't it? In the wisdom of emptiness, it doesn't mean there's no person, but there's no person that build on the idea of ignorance. There's no such person out there, the way how it appears to be, isn't it? And the anger is very much being there in the service of that person, that false I. You see, So that's why the wisdom of emptiness is in fact is the direct antidote to all the negations. Not the earlier one, not the moral precepts, not the concentration, not any other virtue can be a direct antidote to all the negations, all the negative emotions. But there's one antidote, which is the wisdom of emptiness, wisdom of no self. Wherever you apply, it works. Wherever you apply, that is the most powerful antidote, you see. So, yeah, so this is the way. Then, generating compassion, you know, by understanding where the harm comes from. The harm comes from negative emotion. If someone don't have negative emotion, they will never harm anybody. The negative emotion is not in you, it's in them, the harm giver. Whoever harbor negative emotion, they are in suffering. They're in suffering. So in the eyes of compassion, the suffering person is nothing else than object of compassion, object of your care, object of your help. And some more, if the negative emotion, since the negative emotion is already translated into an action through speech or through physical or mental action relating to one another sentient being like you now, create a karma. The karma that committed in the influence of negative emotion is a fruitful cause of that person's suffering. So from every aspect, the actions of others harm to you is a miserable of that person. And some more, how first place this negative emotion came into this person to translate into a harmful action to you. It very much due to the interdependent condition that actualized in the past. And in that interdependent condition, you are part of it. So that's the understanding. I am part of it. There's no cause, no result. The result will not experience without cause and committed. One will not experience anything that which one have not created in the past. It is cause and condition. So if the harm is receiving to me, meaning I'm definitely, directly or indirectly, part of the initial cause for that person to have that negative emotion, then that negative emotion to translate into a harmful action that comes to you. So therefore, it is my responsibility as a practitioner to take the opportunity to purify that negative relationship. And the best way to purify that negative relationship is by forgiving, by seeing in the eyes of compassion. So this is what it means, expressing patience, the practice of patience to the harm givers. Otherwise, it's like you cannot become like rock. Say I want to be patient and I don't want to do anything. Just sit like that. It doesn't work. You have to rationalize the actual meaning of what patient means. So like that. So these are the way to benefit yourself and to benefit the harm giver. And that way, the result out of this practice will be beneficial to you and beneficial to the harm giver. It's very much, you are conditioning to also not only to liberate yourself from the suffering that comes in your way, but also to liberate the other being, through the conditioning of, your meritorious practice that relating to the harm giver. So then the 37 practice in the verse 27, it says, to bodhisattvas who want a wealth of virtue, those who harm are like a precious treasure. Therefore, towards all cultivate patience without hostility. This is the practice of bodhisattva. Anger understood, like in the how emphasized in the Bodhisattva Charya, one moment of anger will destroy eons of accumulations of merit. And Lama Tsongkhapa emphasized happiness is a result of merit. If someone has no merit, there's no happiness. And Lama Tsongkhapa have emphasized that all the wishes will be fulfilled when you have enough merit. Why wishes are not fulfilling? Because of lacking of merit. So merit are the virtues, merit are the resources to fulfill our innate aspirations. The temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. Then the reality in our present lifetime, even though we have precious human rebirth, but the magnitude of distraction out there, we very much never really have a kind of like a full-time, full concentrated, kind of virtues be accumulated. Sometimes there's no strength of motivation is there, even though there's opportunity to create merits. Sometimes the practice itself is not really kind of, complete environment to actualize the full practice. Sometimes, yes, motivation is there, practice is there, but then he didn't manage to dedicate properly. And throughout the day, and throughout 24 hours, most of the time we go to bed, just doze off. Didn't manage to carry any motivation, and more than ever nowadays, the doctors also recommend try to sleep as much as possible, or minimum 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, and minimum 6 or 7 or 8 hours. Just simply doze off. Didn't manage to set any motivation. All those 7, 8 hours were wasted. Almost every 24 hours, 7, 8 hours are gone. Now, when we are conscious throughout the day, we have to give so much concentration, even just to get out from the bed. Get out from the bed. You need to get out bit of some styles. Some styles, getting out of the bed. No, you get out of the bed and you will do a style like that. Some more if you are sleeping with your partner, then you have to get out with a lot of styles. Very proper, making sure that he or she don't see any wrong thing, wrong styles, So there's the moment you wake up, supposed to set a motivation. If you want to really, impeccable of the day, or the activities of the day in the practice. But most times, we forget to do that. The great practitioners, the moment you wake up, their mind is wake up with divine identity. They wake up, full aware of the deity, that which before went to sleep, which they dissolve into the mandala, and now they arise from the mandala for the benefit of sentient beings. There are practitioners who wake up with first thought is bodhicitta. I start a day for the benefit of numberless sentient beings' well-being, etc., etc. Like His Holiness Dalai Lama always emphasized. He even do the quotations of Nagarjuna's precious garland. You very much rise to become like the wish fulfilling jewel to the sentient being. those who need medicine, I become medicine. Those who need food, shelter, help, whatever, just like the earth, sky, always available for everybody, etc., etc. And it's quite hard to remember. In my case, most of the time is, first thing I wake up, I remember toilet. Pee. So, you wake up with high tide, and what can you remember other than toilet? Isn't it? So therefore, serious practitioner, even before go to bed, in the afternoon, they design what kind of, food they eat, how much you should eat, how much you should drink. It's like preparation for a good start of the day, the morning that, you wake up early, but not because you need to rush to toilet, like me. Because they want to do meditation, they want to set motivation for the day. Yeah. So then after that, another business, to dress up. You see, even the monk shouldn't be thinking about that. Even now, monks also need to think about how to dress up. Even though just the same piece of the cloth, but it still need to I'm okay, I'm wearing okay, clean or not, proper or not, so much energy you have to spend there. Not just wear up and go, no, not like that. Or there's no room. Already busy, business start. That after that breakfast, isn't it? And how complicated the breakfast can be. Yeah. So I don't know, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever, 2 hours of your time of breakfast. There's such a little room to stay close to bodhicitta, to stay close to the mind of emptiness, to stay close to the divine sadhana practice. You see, you ask ourselves, many of us are high secret tantric deity practitioner. When your delicious breakfast is prepared, do you see bread or do you see nectar? Ask ourselves, do you see this very beautiful breakfast set as the ordinary fruits and whatever breakfast, or you see absolute blissful nectar? For me, I never remember it's blissful nectar. I see the bread, raw bread, and the butter. You see. So then after that job, blah, 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 whole throughout the day, it's like so busy, so difficult to have even like few moments that we can accumulate concentrated, pure, complete, perfected virtue of Dharma. Very, 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 very rare. The distraction is like so huge. You see. So that's the fact. At least fact for me. For many of you, it may not be fact. You're always in divine. But for me, that's a fact. So now, another fact is looking at the position where we are. Just give one example. As mentioned before, our position is as a precious human rebirth. And this precious human rebirth is, I think, more precious than any precious human rebirth. This is what comes in my mind. Our life being in the time, the compassionate Buddha in the Guru physical human form. Not even such period during 300, 600 years ago. Even though Shakyamuni Buddha was there, but the compassionate Buddha cherishing in the Guru form is not there. In person, and not just as a figure out there like a statue, but communicating with us, pouring endless nectar of complete Dharma, complete transmission of the complete practices. I think what can be more fortunate than that? Honestly, be serious, No more fortunate than that. Our time. Yeah, etc. There's so many unbelievable blessings that, we are in position now. This is the hard work of our previous life. This is a tremendous effort being in the practice of virtue and Dharma by our previous lifetime. And most likely our immediate previous life. Because the ripening result is like so powerful, the position. It has to be quite immediate before. And many lifetimes before, accumulated. The throwing karma is very much done in our previous life for us to be in this favorable position. We are put in the position that we can achieve enlightenment in this body, in this time. Our position is that much favorable, unbelievable. Even during the Shakyamuni Buddha's period, these first 5 disciples, they were not in the same position that what we have now. We are in a much more favorable position. Even though they met Buddha directly, they will reveal only 4 noble truths. They will reveal the teaching of the common path, not uncommon path. We reveal by the living intrinsic in the Guru form, which the work cannot be done by the Sambhuvakaya body, has to be done by the Nirmanakaya. The human ordinary body has to be performed that. And we have received that opportunity. We have received already. We are already in that fortunate position. So our past life have worked so hard for us. So now, giving these 2 reasons, we are enjoying the result of so much of merit of the past. At the same time, we have not much time to create new merits in this lifetime because of so many busyness, so many distractions out there, even though so favorable. And at the same time, we are in the middle of the bridge. Which side of the world you want to go? You want to go back to the same world, or you want to go to the other side of the world, which is a liberation, which is enlightenment, isn't it? Right in the middle of the bridge there. And you have a full choice in your hand because you have a full tools. The bridge is intact. To just walk across, you are arrived at the other side of the world. The decision making here, whether we go into the other side of the world or this side of the world, defined by the merit. Defined by the merit of wisdom, merit of attitude, whatever it is, defined by the merits. Now, here, my point is, can we effort to generate even a 1 moment of anger or not now? Because 1 moment of anger carries the power to destroy eons of accumulations of merit in that just 1 moment. And we have that eons of accumulations of merit. Even though we in the position, because of distractions, don't have chance to create so much merit like we already did. But we have a choice not to ruin all the merit, not to waste all the merit already accumulated in the past. And one of the best way to do from many other protection is, one protection must be there, is protecting ourselves never to get angry. In the Buddhist Avacharya concluded that among all the delusions, the most destructive is anger. Then among all the virtue, the most powerful is rejoicing. Even they did say that ignorance is the most destructive, attachment is the most destructive, anger is the most destructive. And that's why even dedicated one whole chapter about that. You see, so if we are unable to accumulate so much merit, but we have to be smart enough to make sure not to waste any more merits. So that's, I think, my point. We cannot afford to waste. Unless we aspire for suffering, unless we enjoy samsara, then we don't need to cross the bridge, come back to the old world. It's fine. But the world is not an easy place, isn't it? I think there are so many examples of, the how much favorable environment, the other side of the world of liberation, and some more the world of enlightenment, the world of the Buddhas. Even the world of the Pure Lands is like unbelievable. Happiness after happiness, and virtue after virtues, liberation after liberations. All those the benefit once you manage to arrive at the other side of the world, which is out of the silsila of samsara existence, right? So these are the things that we need to meditate. So this is the topic of meditation. And when we should do meditation while we are getting angry? No, we won't able to do meditation. When we are in the environment of disturbances, can we do the meditation will be effective? No. We have to do a meditation when we are not in the environment of disturbances. And sometimes we even need to find a time for retreat, time to go somewhere and have a constructive, habitual training on this meditation. On this meditation simply means being habitual in the wisdom, habitual, repeated habitual. So that next time when we are so habitual, so trained, even you see the sight of inconvenience, the antidote is already fully ready there, which many of us are not in the position now. You see, then even the environment of disturbance is already in truth, but then the more power of your mindset that time will be the antidote, then the negation, so that you're able to overpower the negation, overpower the anger. You see, so we have to practice. We have to find a practice, in a comfortable place like that. Comfortable or the conducive environment. That's why any practices, emphasize, or 6 kind of conducive environments. It's similar, even though the conducive environment that taught in the Paramita Sutra, also emphasized in the Lamrim, is for shamatha, but we have to take that for all the other practices, like a right place, then less negative, like kind of less desire, etc., or contentment, etc. So there's a 6 kind of different conducive conditions that's suggested. Even in our own home, why we create an altar place, why there's a great meaning, and why we need to have like such a temple, like the Sanders, there's, it's basically dedicated for practices. There's a great meaning. It's more about like organizing a conducive environment to initiate the effectiveness of practices like that. Okay. So there are 3 types of patience. Patience of not retaliating against others' harm. Patience of not retaliating against someone who harms you. So it's very much the first reasoning, looking through the eyes of compassion, then you come to a position that you cannot retaliate to the harm giver. Patience of willingly enduring suffering. So this very much comes in the positions of attitude, training in the attitude, especially Bodhisattva's attitude, like such as bodhicitta. The essence of the Mahayanic Dharma is bodhicitta. The essence of the bodhicitta practice is Tonglen practice of taking and giving. So whenever there's a suffering comes in one's way, then you endure in the practice of Tonglen. Translate in the practice of Tonglen. You rather take opportunity instead of feeling miserable. You rather take the opportunity to help sentient beings by best. If you are Arya Bodhisattva, literally can able to take. Unless there's a certain definite karmic position that which no way can, even by the Arya Bodhisattvas, able to bring impact. But otherwise, the level of Arya Bodhisattva, they literally take onto their own. We can see from our many great gurus, no doubt. Like Geshe Lama Sopa, no doubt is enlightened being, Arya Bodhisattva, no doubt. You can see Rinpoche carried a lot of health difficulties, and he was, experiencing what you call the stroke, diabetes, etc., etc. But one thing you also see that there's not even a slightest of sign that he's in pain, he's in suffering. He is not even like aware like that. That he's there's a limping. When he walks. There's no reduction of his energy in his positivities. He's always in bliss. But in the eyes of our ordinary mind, he is unwell. I sometimes think if I have that kind of physical disability, I will just shut off all my world and just stay in house and just feel sick, feel incapable. Rinpoche, until to the last breath, he's doing even more than he'd been doing maybe before. Every single day is increasing his activities in the benefit of sentient being. You see, such a Vajra body, who has already achieved such a level of Arya Bodhisattvas or enlightenment, they can manifest all this inconvenience in the practice of Tonglen, literally taking others' sufferings. This is one of the things. If the individual not up to that stage of level of practice, then at least in exercise through motivation, through visualization. Like in the Lama Chöpa talks about, through the tools of breathing, you take, sentient beings suffering onto you. And when you breathe out, you dedicate, you transfer all your merits and goodness to the well-being of sentient being. Through that exercise, bring purification in ourselves of the suffering that we are experiencing. And at the same time, the merit become a conditional cause, other sentient being to be free from the suffering. Because another reality is you cannot transfer your merit onto other sentient beings. And you cannot take other suffering onto you. That also another fact. The individual creation of karma have to be experienced by individual. That's another fact. But through the tools of the Tonglen practices, according with the level of the practitioner's capability, it does become an antidote to purify the root cause, first place, that which your suffering came into existence, and in your eyes, the suffering of the other sentient being can be existent. The self-grasping ignorance is the one. So when we say take suffering onto us, take other suffering onto us, it doesn't mean ripen onto the wound that we already have. It doesn't mean other suffering ripen onto our body and our mind and we become sick. It doesn't mean that. I here referring, taking upon you, referring the self-grasping ignorance and self-cherishing, the selfish attitude. It's talking about that. Because that is the root cause of why you suffer. And that is the root cause of why you have to see suffering all. So you see, in Buddha's eye, there's no samsara. In Buddha's eye, entire existence is a celestial existence, and entire being is Buddha being. But samsara exists in Buddha's eye. Suffering being exists in Buddha's eye. So there are two understandings. In Buddha's eye, samsara does not exist. There's no inherent existence samsara out there. That is one reason. But in another reason is because the mind of Buddha is purified. So in the purified mind, everything is pure. But impure exists in Buddha's eye. Suffering being exists in Buddha's eye. So therefore, from this understanding, by purifying your own ignorance, your own self-cherishing mind, by purifying your mind, you don't, in your eyes, there's no suffering sentient being. But right now you see suffering sentient being because of not their ignorance, because of your own ignorance. Make sense? It is true. You have to think carefully because there's you have to apply the reasons to make sense to that. Then this practice is like really, it's not just kind of a thinking process, but it really works. It does really bring benefit of liberation, not only in you but also in others. Possible, by liberating you can liberate others in your eyes, that you don't have to see suffering because your mind is purified. Why now? Let's say in unpurified mind, even beautiful rose you see is nasty. You say, today is very bad mood. Why you display a beautiful rose here? It disturbed me. No, this one I think doesn't disturb anybody. Because here, everybody's mind is quite well purified. But when we are in such a bad mood and someone bring a nice flower, no, I don't think can brighten the day. It will ruin the day. So it's not because of something wrong with the flower and something wrong with the people who's giving flower, because something wrong with your own mind, isn't it? When your mind is so pure, even someone comes without flower, also very happy, isn't it? Oh, that's the thing. So there's a lot of calculations has to be done, how it works, So again, this is a topic to be meditated. When you really convince it really works that way, then you try to use the lenses of that understanding. Then the world is different for you. Okay, the tea is coming. Not in the just view, but the real tea has to become. So yeah, so maybe you can task that. Thank you. Practice of patience. So patience of willingly enduring suffering, especially to the practice of Dharma. Oh, practice of Dharma is not easy. Practice of Dharma, even if you are really committed, and if you are choosing the Bodhisattva path, you countless eons of lifetime, and you stay foot in the practice. Not easy. If you are practicing Tantra, even greater challenge, even though it's a sweet path, but it's greater concentration is needed, greater discipline is needed. Not easy. If you practice the Vinaya, not easy. You think becoming a monk is easy? No. I also want to have 5, 6 of girlfriends and go around, fool around. You think this is like so comfortable? No. If I don't like the first girlfriend, I go for the second girlfriend. If not second girlfriend, there's plenty of choices. Yeah. And like to stay without girlfriend, you think it's easy? No. You think to wear every day the same piece of clothes, you think it's easy? Have you ever tried 1 week wearing the same clothes? Have you ever tried? Not even one, maybe like 2 days. Have you tried just wearing the same clothes? Not easy. Uh, so during all the challenges to practice Dharma, it's a practice of great patience. You know, even though I said taking a lot of vows is privilege, that's one way of understanding. But taking a lot of vows is very stressful too. It's not easy to preserve that purely. Not easy. Not easy. Preserve 253 vows. Oh no, it's like the head is almost exploding. Exploding or exploding?
Exploding.
Exploding.
Yeah.
And think about Bodhisattva vow. You go one by one, 18 root vow, 46 secondary vows. So, oh no, there's no way, You see? So from that point of view, it's not easy. But why is privilege? If you think from the otherwise, the more the vow, the more the restriction that you have from non-virtues, from you know, from how to say less meaning, and gather more meanings, greater meanings, through the different precepts. Because you accomplish the 6 parameters, paramita of morality, paramita of patience, blah 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 blah, and that's how you go closer to the Buddhahood. It's a privilege, in one way. It is a privilege that I cannot have girlfriend. It is supremely privileged. No other way, It is so privileged that you can, even those who have a partner, to stay with your partner and never wander around your mind around. It's a privilege. Like to take the vow of no sexual misconduct, privilege, blessings. To take the vow of no sexual contact, even more privilege. But from the other perspective, these are not easy. This is torturing. So the other way is the blessing. So like that. So you see, now many of you serve how many years? Serve to fulfill Guru's wishes, to serve, to fulfill Buddha's and Bodhisattva's wishes. Even related to the centers, to serve as a director, serve as a SPC, serve as a committee, serve as a volunteer, even serve to be as a student. You think it's easy? No. Even just come to this class, you think it's easy? No. You come here for many different reasons because of you don't understand the teaching. You have already mastered all these teachings. And I mentioned on the first day, if you came to learn the intellectual knowledge, stay with the ChatGPT, not with Geshe Zopa. You can't get much from Geshe Zopa or any other teacher. ChatGPT, AI will give you more information, better information. But still, you spend money. You sacrifice, as I mentioned on the I think on the Friday, or I don't know.
Yesterday,
you sacrifice of your comforts, your time, especially in this gloomy weather. It's not easy. You have so many other comfortable day to enjoy, and you renounce everything and you come here for what? In the service of Dharma, to preserve the Dharma discussions. If everybody stopped to discuss about Dharma, Dharma would be finished. Some of you have been practicing for how many years? You have actually learned entire Lamrim, entire Buddha's teaching, whether it's through Lamrim or Lojong or philosophy, whatever, you have already mastered it. You don't need any more extra information. You have all the information, but you still go to the center. Why? And you need to go to the center for what? To preserve the mandala of Dharma. The sign of the Dharma is still to be, it's still the people can still see the flame there. When that flame is diminished, finish. Why we do pilgrimages? You think pilgrimage is easy? I did a lot of pilgrimage. It's like torturing. Especially to go to some places, especially like me or the organizer, we have responsibility about people's health, about people's whatever, can go anything wrong. Literally, until when people like finish pilgrimage and go back, you don't really get a good sleep, honestly. There's always hope that things go well, hope that nobody gets sick, hope that no accident, blah, blah, blah. But still we go for pilgrimage. And this is one of a very powerful practice since beginningless time. Even during Shakyamuni Buddha's period, Shakyamuni Buddha always do pilgrimage. Always, he will never just stay in one place. He do pilgrimages. His first pilgrimage is Buddha Kashyap's holy stupa, where he cut his hair. After run from the palace, he went to Buddha Kashyap's stupa. Because I think Sachuratong or something like that in Tibetan. So, you see, if the holy places were not visited by, if let's say Buddhist holy places are not visited by Buddhists, there are many already almost like unnoticeable. It becomes unnoticeable. It utilized by something else. Sometimes even, Shenrezi's holy places become a place where they do animal sacrifices. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
We cannot condemn anybody's belief, anybody's practice. This is their religion. This is their practice. It is our fault. Because we never visit them. We never pay respect. And used by others. Anyway, anything is labeled, labeled. And some holy places may not be true, but there's a labeling of, oh, this is Guru Rinpoche's footprint, or this is Guru Rinpoche's blah, blah. This is something to do with this. But it still has a reason for that. It does introduce Dharma to you, isn't it? But not easy. So that's why here, like all of you, not easy. But you are practicing patience, enduring difficulties for a greater meaning, for the preservation of Dharma. I was sharing, when this online kind of facilities came, there was a lot of requests, do online teaching, and that's the most comfortable for me. I can be anywhere I like. And I did some online teachings, and I realized that gradually, you start to go with a pajama. You start the teaching and cover with the rope, and you start to teach and then I can see it's oh, this is quite serious. It can go worse. So again, you see, to meet Dharma, there's a lot of requirement of in-person discussions, face-to-face discussions. It doesn't matter only with the lamas, only with the monks or nuns, among individuals. So anyway, I wanted to say that yesterday I went to visit the center. Amazing, the Tara. It's Rinpoche's blessing, Gyabchen Lama Sopa Rinpoche's blessing. Rinpoche is the one who asked through his observation, you need the red Tara, or yellow Tara in Blue Mountain, in Kunsang Geshe. Many years back. It took many years to actualize. It doesn't mean it's just for Kunsang Geshe, that small space. It means for anybody directly, indirectly connected to the Buddha Dharma around this region. It's a pilgrimage place. It's whenever opportunity, whenever you happen to be in Blue Mountain, go and see the mother. you know. Mother is always there waiting, but we sometimes forget. We cannot define by that particular Kusai Geshe something to do with FPMT, you know, or different organization, different tradition. No, relate to Tara. Tara is for everybody. Organizations, groups can be, you know, their own different groups. Fine, it's okay. But when it comes to Tara, it's Tara, isn't it? You know, it was so heartwarming actually, you know, just to look at her, not just an object, but to look at her as a Tara. And just because of the Tara, that little shop lot is like a temple. Really amazing, you know. So I also thought that here many practitioners are learned and seniors. You know, even from people who move from outstations, mostly it's actually more for retreat purposes, really to live close to a practice, and they know how to practice. Maybe they not necessarily need, but this is another round of alarm say you stop. Okay, so anyway, I already take so much of your time. So, okay, 12:30. Okay, so I complete this one. So, yeah, so most of people here, you know, you know how to practice. You don't need to go somewhere else to kind of learn how to practice. But there's so much of significance and benefit. Practitioners, human to human, coming together. This is also done among the great masters. They have their own responsibility to take care of their own monasteries, their own sanghas, but they put so much effort to get together, which is to share their energy, share their experiences. Please.
You know how you were explaining Tonglen
Yes.
and the two types of the way we see suffering?
Yes.
So can you just, I can understand, but I think I understand the Buddha's view, which is that in the book, because the Buddha's mind is pure, he doesn't see, he would see that this is not samsara. He sees the suffering, but he doesn't experience the suffering. But then for us, when we do Tonglen, what are the two ways?
Yeah. So he seeing suffering, and in the eyes of in the Buddha's eye, there's no suffering, and seeing suffering is two different things. So Buddha sees the relative truth. You know, he is omniscient because of he understands every single detail of relative truth. And the relative truth is the world of the samsaric existence and the world of the world out of that. So he sees everything. But saying that the eye in the Buddha's eye, there's no suffering. It's talking about the quality of his pure view or the pure mind.
And then when we do Tonglen,
Yeah.
you said we can't see it the two ways.
When we do Tonglen, by Tonglen we do, of course, the intention is expressions of bodhicitta, great compassion, you know, to elevate the suffering sentient being from misery. But on the basis of understanding the root cause of the suffering, because the Tonglen can be practiced. Tonglen does practice. You can practice in any position, but especially when you are going through problem, you're going through suffering, and one of most effective practice in relation to Buddhist path is Tonglen, which is taking other suffering onto the self for your own purpose of purification, as well as to benefit other beings. That is on the basis of understanding where the root cause is coming from. Root cause is actually within yourself, which is the ignorant and self-cherishing attitude. So very much taking onto the false eye. say, take on to self, it's talking about the false I. And false I is very much constructed by the false view of true existent I. So there's also visualization that you do that around at the chest level. There's like a rusted, very stubborn like metal rod, which is very hard, as like how hard the self-searching and self-grasping ignorance is there. But it is rusted rod, is very nasty, very ugly. So when we want to do the tools of breathing, and using the tools of breathing, and so there's the things that you visualize coming in, like such as it is sickness, then like blood and pus. You visualize, when you breathe in, then with the tools of breathing, you draw in like blood and pus in the form of blood and pus, and that ripen upon that nasty rod, which is represents self-grasping and self-shirking attitude. And if it is spirit harms, naga harms, elemental harms, then you visualize as a scorpion, poisonous scorpion, then ripen onto that. Then that purifies, And if it is the sufferings are happening because of the general karmic imprint of the past, then black shoot. You visualize a black shoot drawing in, ripen upon that, and purifies. So, so this is yeah. When you think, so when you send, then when you breathe out, then you send in the form of different energy, different lights, different form of nectar, how normally we use in the visualizations of driving blessings from the deities with us, and then understood that is ripen upon them, or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yes, please, Venerable.
Can I ask about anger?
Okay.
Because for me, certain situations I feel anger right away. You see injustice, the really children, parents and that. But I've had the only definition of anger is the wish to harm. So I feel that anger, in that sense, conventional English, not Dharma English, but I don't wish to harm anybody. I just have this very strong wish that there's somewhere to stop. So how does that fit in with the Dharma?
Yeah. So the anger has many degrees, to grow to the subtle. The state of mind in the state of impatience, even that understood as anger. So there's the gross to subtle. Yeah. Then in a more gross conceptual level, then of course reasonalize that someone harmed me, that I want to retaliate with harm. But in the subtle level, it carries that element, but not in the language form. Not something that we can detect with our gross mind, the conceptual mind. So that's why called patient, and the opposite is impatient. So not necessarily only to do with someone's harming you. It can be just a situation, can be just way of thinking, can be just feel intolerant, impatientness, and that also carries the power of destroying the merit. Because its element, its nature is to do with with the common language we know, anger. Yeah, yes. So any delusion is very difficult to not to have them. But with the right antidote, right training, and definitely can overcome. That's why there are so many arahats who are able to overcome anger. And very obvious, even with our living, who manifest in human form, even though the quality is Buddha quality, like Dalai Lama, so obvious to the harm givers, to anybody. he sees everything in the eyes of compassion. He sees every single human existence as a one loving family, and even to the other sentient beings. So it is something can able to practice. Like many of us know how Lama Zopa Rinpoche handle all situations with so much of laughter, so much of positivity. Everything translate uh, in the training of six paramita. Honestly, I think Rinpoche is one of greatest examples that we so closely witness in an ordinary environment. I think one of the most generous person and equanimity. The generous also not biased. Anyone comes in his way for protection, for kindness, for blessings, for dharma, for material generosity. I think he is one of the master there who, even in my lifetime, in my time in Sarah, I went through. Of course, I didn't go through that much hardship like those of the who went through hardship in the Baksa. But there are a lot of similarity. We have no proper food, etc. Even I joined around 90s, and even then, and after a few years, Rinpoche feed all of the few thousands of monks and 3 meals, nutritious, enough for enough. Uh, I think it's how possible, And you go around the world, especially in those more destitute places. In Nepal, in India, in Himalaya region, there's so many schools, so many monasteries, so many nunneries. Rinpoche has been feeding them, which many people even don't know. Especially after he passed away, even the monks in Kopan were shocked at how many people come to pay respect to him because of expressions of gratitude that they say that his families was taken care, their organization was taken care. That hundreds and hundreds of groups non-stop. Even we were shocked. We only know a few highlighted events. Then about Dharma generosity. There's no Lama that who would teach like Lama Zopa Rinpoche would teach. Until the student has, they just can't take it, they leave. There's one event happened in Singapore during when I was a Rinpoche's attendant. The teaching will start around maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, even before we start have a dinner. And that teaching, when one sitting, Rinpoche, one sitting, and that was in the old center, one sitting until next morning, sunrise around 8 or something, and then he opened his eye, and just a few attendants of us there. Because people need to go to work, and people have family. Non-stop, teaching, and it's been like that day after day everywhere. The attendance has to put full force to stop him. We will pull his ropes. We will whisper into his eye. Sometimes we even show our face. Like say, oh, this is going too far, too long. And of course, hardly will pay attention to you, for that. He's paying full attention to generosity of Dharma and complete Dharma. If you listen to him, even you just talk to him one moment, just a casual conversation, whole Lamrim teaching is given to you. Whatever teaching, whatever topic give to Rinpoche, the entire Lamrim's complete path is transmitted to you. Nowadays we come to a position, like we have certain kind of like a school type of teaching. You teach this subject, I won't talk about the other. Otherwise, I may lose my job. I may lose next class. No. That generosity. And he has, how to say, unexhaustible wisdom to share, unexhaustible examples, unexhaustible skillful means, and his own living, living person. As I mentioned this morning also, why you are always practicing Dharma generosity, because you are living on the path yourself. You are conducting your bodhisattva mind. Lama Zopa Rinpoche is one of very obvious examples. Day and night. Perfect Vinaya. It's not easy today's time. Not easy to live in vows. Not easy. There's a statement by Buddha. The existence of the Dharma dependent on the existence of the Vinaya. Existence of the Vinaya dependent on the existence of the Sangha. So, and this is a bit of losing that importantness. As long as you can speak well, as long as you're a scholar, you're good enough for the preservation of Dharma. According to what Buddha means, is not that's not good enough. You need a guru who uphold pure Vinaya precepts, which is getting rarer and rarer. Like Dalai Lama, like Lama Zopa Rinpoche, their whole life, since very small. Like Dalai Lama is around 2 years old. Lama Zopa Rinpoche is maybe around 2 years old too. Up to last breath, uphold the highest standard of the Vinaya precepts, which is not easy. And getting rarer and rarer. Now, in relation to receiving complete Dharma, means you need to receive all the three precepts: individuation, liberation precept, Buddhism precept, tantric precept. But if the guru don't uphold these three things, or one of them is not upholding, if the student is ripened to receive complete Dharma from that guru, is not in a position to transmit you. If the guru is not upholding Vinaya, Sangha precept, if you want to become a Sangha, he is not in a position to help you in that way. You need to find another guru. If someone is not upholding your Bodhisattva precept, if you want to practice Bodhisattva path, the Bodhisattva path, start from receiving Bodhisattva precept. The guru may not be in that position. If the guru is not practicing tantric precepts, there's no position to even lead you into the mandala. So you see, so one of really amazing contribution of these masters like Lama Zopa Rinpoche is not, I'm talking not because of is my guru. It's even in the Tibetan community, in a monastery community, Rinpoche is one of the highlighted examples that that even his son has expressed this example. Even in the great monastery, So for us, of course, is have a spiritual relationship. It's really his living example is itself is the open book teaching of the Buddha Dharma, how it should be practiced. That generosity, upholding pure vow is like you need full mindfulness. You need to be generous to be mindfulness, not to get distracted. Then the Bodhisattva's conduct, he lives every single moment in Bodhisattva's way of life. It's not exaggerating, it's the truth, Even we ordinary people can witness, not just one day, whole 60, 70 years of life. And day and night, same. Today, tomorrow, same. This year, next year, same. That's not easy. You see. And even sacrifice rest and sleep. We all know Rinpoche don't sleep. And I witnessed myself. Because I used to, my duty at that time is Venerable Roger and me, two attendants only. So Venerable's duty is daytime. My duty is night duty. You see, so at night, of course, mostly is occupied with appointments, teachings. So when there's a free time, then Rinpoche will do compositions of teachings or writing instruction to the students. That time especially usage of cards, physical cards. And Rinpoche spent a lot of time actually, on the way, like transiting at the airport, even there's 1-2 hour extra, the first thing we will ask, not a tea, not a rest, it's card shop. And very carefully select, and I remember during that time, there's one card got a 3D kind of, appearance, the flower got look this like something, and it's very expensive, and those are really, really beautiful. So, and for each individual, write handwriting and detailed writings of advice, answering, and I spent a lot of time, concern of people who need. Of course, there's not enough time, but he will, from his side, he dedicate full time to make sure everybody that he, who asks his reply, he's tried to reply like that, many hours. Then pujas for this student, that student for this center, that center. If someone is sick, the pujas are not just short puja like that. It's really, really detailed, extensive. I remember there's one that also happened in Singapore. There's one family whose daughter was unwell. I think one of the member there who involved in the studying of the center. So suddenly he checked observation, and the obstacle so serious they need to do with one puja with the Heart Sutra, and need to make many thoma. Many small thoma, 100 over thoma. So he says, okay, need to go and start the preparation. It's so, but just for that one person, and just making thoma, took whole day. So then after that, there's a teaching or something happening. So we made the thoma. So that's where I found out that because as an attendant, you need to do the more jobs, finding of the material, and I found the wrong material. So I use the normal flour, not the roasted one. And by the time the next morning we came, all thoma sleeping, all the thoma collapsed. So I was saying, maybe we use fruits, and we have to make another round. So I have to make another whole day. So then there I knew that using quick oat is the best. So quick oat, put hot water. Wow, the best thoma, better than the samba. You see, so that's the time I found like that. Anyway, like that. Then mandala offering. It's a preliminary, but he does every day. And even find one short moment, he will do mandala offering. Very heavy mandala, I have to carry everywhere. Then create this table, then the many pictures, many relics, many statues, whatever, everything. Then circumambulate. Then if he happened to see one insect, he would just take on the paper or something. He go around to circumambulate to benefit the ants or benefit the insect. So one time, I think it's about Hong Kong or somewhere, we are in the airport. We have about 6-7 hours of time there. So remember Roger book a hotel. The moment we arrive in a hotel, so which carry few luggages, and most of the luggage is text and relics. One whole suitcase is about relics. Another suitcase is about text. Two suitcases about text. So I have to open everything, have to display as altar, and I have to ask these glass and wine glasses, so as many glasses as possible, and offer waterful offering. Extensive dedication for the benefit of numberless sentient beings' happiness. Extensive, So offering, before even finish, we have to check out. Day after day, like that. So this is living Dharma, being generous. And he's being generous. I think many of you have shared one story. We went to Lauto and coming back, some of you already heard. We're supposed to leave morning, but we only managed to leave in the evening. And the next morning we have a flight from Lukla. And it took 3 days and 3 nights to reach Lukla. Because of that, so many ants, so many frogs, so many cows, and all those villagers. He didn't, put aside even one single ant that he saw on the road, and dedicate not just few seconds, it's about half an hour for each. Until they come to a point that, of course, there's about 10, 15 or interraj, we've been doing 1 week Nyungme. Then now, like that. So, dieseling. So, we try to find what you call the juniper bush to lie down. And for that one problem, which is start to give a Lamrim teaching. So I think he thought that all of us are listening, but to all of them is like lying down here and there. Then at the Namje Bazaar, people are waiting. Every single door is waiting with this brass plate. Then inside got wheat, then salt and butter. So actually, it's waiting there for Rinpoche to come and bless their house. So every house got altar. The moment you see one holy object, one altar, 35 Buddhas prostration, and teaching to the family, like that. Then in Lukla, the people find that Rinpoche must be very tired, blah blah blah. So one person offer a horse, donkey or horse, I don't know. There's a mule or something like that. They offer for Rinpoche to ride. Of course, Rinpoche won't ride, but he accepts. So he assigned one of the Indaraj. You have to chant those many different powerful mantras loud enough that almost all the Indaraj can hear. But for the horse, and have to bring the horse with very gentle. So another member in the journey, and we are traveling around like 9 o'clock, coming down one of the scariest road is actually after Namje Bazaar. And whole night this one individual was like shouting with the mantra for the horse. Day after day, like that. Year after year, like that. For my about 3 years of time, there's not one moment. You see, daytime, until you also, your body feel like almost no body, like so tired, but heart, like so much of inspiration. Like amazing, how can you do that? How amazing, you see. So yeah, there are many stories, but now I think you need to eat. Okay, one story. So that was a long time. So that was, I think, about 2-3 years later. I entered one monastery. So I become the room keeper. I think 3-4 years later, room keeper. So they built a new room for Rinpoche. The old Gopa got Lama Yeshe's room, Lama Subaramita's room, Lama Lundu's room, Lama Kuncho's room. So in the middle, there's a living area with a very kind of green, kind of like a transparent, when the sun shines and like that. So then later, made one new room for Rinpoche with everything with the wood. So after move to there, every year, of course, Rinpoche comes to Kopan that time, quite short period, during November, for the course. About a week before Rinpoche comes, he already said, if there's, of course, you can see one or two ants, he said that never chase them away and feed them and chant mantra. Then, so that's the proposition. The next year onward, about a week before Rinpoche come back, the whole entire house filled with ants. I think millions, I don't know, but everywhere, and they even produce eggs. So he don't sleep, but we have a pillow and blanket to cover everywhere. But the strange thing is, from the door to the toilet to his sitting area, and also there's one corner. It's a small room for the people visitor to sit. That area, no ants, but otherwise completely filled with ants. The moment Rinpoche arrived to Kopan, he will ask to get the best quality samba flour, roasted flour, barley flour. Then a huge amount of butter and sugar, and make a food for the ants. And he will starve under his pillow. And every single corner is like, the aroma also very nice. Like 3 white and 3 sweets. Everything is there. So I think the most delicious food. Like that. And throughout his time, if he stay 1 month, the ants are always there. And he's sitting on the bed where he's sitting, no ants, but pillow right here. Underneath is full, all the eggs and food like that. So when he leaves, he say, make sure every day feed them. So we have to feed them. We cannot chase them away. And about a week or 10 days, all throughout the year, entire ant disappeared. So I think that they are not ants. I think there must be Dagatakinis.
Yeah.
For us, ordinary mind, we see ants. And this is year after year like that, until, of course, this whole Gompa was rebuilt. So like that.